Okay, so this video I'm going to explain how I did a test of 407 Coupe V6 ES9A 6-speed manual. Now, so for those who want to know the actual fuel consumption of 407 V6 Coupe, please remember this is for V6 petrol Coupe 407, also known as D2 Coupe. So not the diesel coupe. So this is V6 407 coupe petrol manual 6-speed manual. That's a factory 6-speed manual gearbox in the 407 coupe. So I did the test, but the test I did was only city drive. So I wanted to point that out because I wanted to know to check the consumption. So actually, someone wanted to know, a client asked to know the fuel consumption of 407 V6, and so I said, okay, let me use my own whenever I have time to do it so that the whole world will see. Even though the coupe fuel consumption is not the same with the saloon, but what I'm not sure, I've not actually checked, but I will expect the two might differ, but not that much. It could be the same anyway, but I just saying, just observe that the test was to confirm the fuel actual city drive or urban drive consumption of this vehicle, the manual version of it, with when you compare with what Peugeot claims for their own for city drive of this car with this transmission. So to know how right, even at least how close one can get. However, I'm going to say that if you live in a country like Nigeria, don't expect, even if Peugeot was right, don't expect to get exactly that. Or it might be difficult. It's possible, but it might be difficult because of, if not for anything, the quality of fuel they sell in Nigeria is very bad. None of them I could say is as good as what they sell in, at least where Peugeot. Some of these tests to be able to tell how good, not necessarily how good, as in what to expect in terms of fuel consumption of these vehicles. Now, fuel consumption, fuel quality they say here is so bad that they burn off. It seems they burn off very quickly than the normal fuel, or even if they don't burn quickly, because they enter the combustion chamber and messes it up, produce all kinds of carbons, not just normal carbon. I mean, I don't even understand the kind of carbon. One brownish, horrible looking carbon deposit. That's what they do. Deposit on the cylinder, so which messes up the combustion, and which also will affect your fuel consumption anyway. So it's the combustion it messes up, the consumption will also be messed up. So anyway, I just did it to know how close it can be. So what happened was, for what you are looking on this image, there's a day the day I decided to start the test. I drove the car until the fuel gauge was almost pointing. In fact, it was pointing at zero. Actually, that's zero level. What you're looking at now on the screen was pointing almost at the zero. So, in fact, I was surprised that that warning the fuel tank empty warning light didn't show while at the time I was driving to the fuel station. So I was thinking that it may even come up, but it didn't. But like I say, it was almost at that zero. So because I needed to drive, so to do this test, I needed the fuel tank to be as empty as possible, so that I will know quantity of fuel I put in, measure it, so that after, because I wanted to do 100-kilometer city drive only, so I needed to reduce it. So what I did was I entered fuel station, paid was it 10,000 naira, and the meter now showed 55 liters for that 10,000 I paid. This was a few days ago. So immediately they put the fuel. Even before I started the car, this was what I did. I set the trip meter, took the picture, this picture you are looking at, and then drove about 3 kilometers where I kept my PP2000. Then when I plugged it in, so I now checked the actual fuel quantity, not just the analog one, to know the figures actually. So I got a little bit conflicting figures here. I don't know if this is clear enough. Let me see. This picture was not that clear, but it says well, hold on. Okay, you can see it said fuel level measured. Fuel level measured, it said 54.7 liters, right? Average level of fuel. They're talking about in the tank, the fuel tank. Fuel level measured in the tank, 54.7 liters. Average level of fuel in the tank, 54.6 liters. Then fuel level displayed. So fuel level displayed, I think I believe it meant the displayed on the fuel gauge. It means 58.7 liters. So I kind of got confused which one exactly is the same. Remember, I bought 55 liters when it's almost entering zone and drove for about 3 kilometers before I now put the PP2000 to see this. So it's possible, since I put 55 liter, maybe there are of course, I expect some fuel to remain before I put fuel. So the fuel might be was in the tank before I put, but how little it was, I wouldn't know. Maybe less than 5 liters, or could it be that I've driven some of them, quite a number of the ones remaining by the time I got to, or within that 3 kilometers before I put this. So it could be, actually it was 55 liters that was remaining, or when I put the PP total, it could be up to 58 liters, even though it was 55 that I put. That is, if at all, it's possible the meter was, even though it was showing 55 liters at the filling station when they are putting it from their meter, but their meter might not be good. So let's assume the meter was maybe 52 or 50 liters, the actual quantity, who knows, So anyway, we'll come back to this. So I started the test. So you can see, look at the mileage of the car, 103,774 liters, 74 kilometers. Then I set the trip meter. I started from 0.0 kilometers. So that I wanted to use this, so as soon as it hits 100 kilometers, I'll stop and then check what I've consumed out of what was in the tank before the 100 kilometers was covered. We now deduct what consumed from the original quantity. Okay. Now, in terms of the condition of the car, before the test commenced, everything was good enough to, I could say the car, the tires were well inflated, the cooling system very okay, intact, engine cooling system, no abuse, coolant, thermostat, fan, everything intact. The AC, the whole of this test was done with the AC running. Didn't drive the car at all without the AC or with the AC off. It was constantly on AC. This test was done within 3 days, which was limited and restricted inside the city. I didn't drive it on highway or anything. It was basically inside the city. I was just looking for the nearest. I really avoid the expressway. Even as I'm entering, I'm coming out, because I didn't want a situation where I had to drive on higher gears. In fact, I could say I basically didn't go beyond gear 4, because when you're driving inside city, most times you are in a traffic jam. So even if you are moving, you are just shuffling between the lower gears. You hardly have a need to get up to gear 5 on a 6-speed manual. So the injection system very okay. Though there was one place that I could say maybe comma, but I will get to that towards the end of the video. But basically, the car was good enough for this test. At least to see how good, because even though it was originally automatic transmission, but I put the gearbox that was also meant for 6-speed, no, meant for 407 coupe with this engine. So meaning everything still remained the same weight of manual 407 V6 coupe, same drive ratio, everything. So that is it. So okay, so now look at the Peugeot claim, what we are expected to get. You can see the weight of the 407. Okay, let's look at the weight and the towed load. Now let's go to the middle one. That is the 407 coupe. This table you are looking at is for 407 coupe petrol engines. So they only had 3 petrol engines. One is 2.2 liter, which is EW12J4, came only in manual, 6-speed manual. The second one is ES9A V6 petrol engine. This it has a manual, 6-speed manual as well. And then the third one is also same engine, same V6 engine, but with 6-speed automatic. So these three engines had, in fact, they all 407 coupe petrol had 6-speed gearboxes, irrespective of the type of gearbox, whether automatic or manual. They're all 6-speed, So so let's look at the cab weight. The cab weight is more like the weight of the car with the driver, only the driver. The car weight with only the driver. Depends on the weight of, but average, maybe I want to assume they meant maybe like 70 or 75 kg, if that's the weight of the driver, without additional load on the vehicle, on the boot, or anything. So for the 407 V6 coupe manual, it's 1,733 kg. So that's assumed that's what the car weighs. However, I put so much load on the vehicle, which made it very, very, okay, let's not say impossible, but difficult to be able to attain what the Peugeot claimed on this table. By that, now let's go now to the fuel consumption. So look at the fuel consumption. You can see the 3-liter V6 24 manual. You can see the urban driving. The urban driving start for the city driving, which was what I focused and did. For 100 kilometers, you can see 15 liters per 100 kilometer, or 18.8 miles per gallon. I think this is for UK gallon. So I want to believe it's UK gallon. So but let's use liters. So 15.0, because I did my calculation in liters, the one I did. So 15 liters per 100 kilometer for urban driving. Urban driving means you're driving inside the city and the rest. So that is it. However, you can see what Peugeot claims here. It doesn't mean, it varies. It could be lower than the 15 kilometers. It could be, it could be lower than 15 liters. It could be higher. So it depends on the driving style, the weather. Look at what Peugeot says there. These consumption values were established in accordance with blah, 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 blah. They may vary depending on the style of driving, traffic conditions, weather conditions, load in the vehicle, the maintenance of the vehicle, and the use of accessories. Now, let's start with the last one, the use of accessories. Like I said, my AC was constantly on. My radio was playing. Headlight was on. My headlight is daytime running. That's how I set it. So once I start the car, it comes on. So it stays on. So all these things stays on fuel consumption. They consume. If your daytime running light is running, your headlight is running, it consumes more fuel. Unless it's LED, consumes less, stuff like that. But if it's halogen, yeah, it consumes. And the rest. So headlight stays on, it consumes more fuel because it drives it puts power, it demands power from the alternator, which drives the engine. So maybe another video. I think I've done video on that. Maintenance of the vehicle. Yeah, I could say the car was a top notch. Nothing else that should affect the fuel consumption except one. But I don't think that should be affected. But I'll talk about it towards the end of the video. Other than that, the maintenance of the vehicle, that's the condition of the car was okay for the load. The load in the vehicle, yes, that was exhaust load. I'm going to show you guys. It was heavily, in fact, the load I put there, even though I was basically the only person in the car all through the test drive, we lasted for about 3 days. However, the load I put on the car, you could say it's almost like a load that, putting 3 persons together or 2 persons. That's how heavy what I put inside the boot all through the test. I'll show you guys the weather. Okay, the weather it's not that cold. It wasn't cold. We're already hot. We're hot weather in Nigeria now, so which keeps the temperature, cooler temperature to warm up much faster and keep it high. It went during the cold weather, rainy season. No matter how hot your engine is, once your speed starts, vehicle speed start going up, it start dropping your cooling system temperature, because that's your coolant temperature. At that time, the cold air is coming in and cooling the engine lower than this thing. So you see your temperature will even start dropping, no matter how good your thermostat is. So for the weather, it was okay, good enough. It may stay even above 90 basically all the time. Once the engine warms up, stays. It didn't even come down below 90 to the time, unless maybe when I first started the vehicle, at the first few minutes, the engine will run from cold start. Style of driving. No, when it comes to the style of driving, I didn't push hard. I drove the car on torque. I applied my scale, my manual scale, stick shift scale, when it comes to driving on torque. The right acceleration and the right gear reduces the RPM. So there won't be much need for you to push out the HP per se, but you push out the huge part of the torque at much lower RPM. So all you need to do is to master your engine torque, then which gear do you need at every point in time, so that you'll be able to pull the torque, will be able to pull the car at much lower RPM, requiring less acceleration, so that it doesn't consume that much. So that one, I was very good at that. So that style of driving, there was no point of racing the car or driving for fun. So there are so many conditions. So anyway, remember, this shows 15 liters per 100 kilometers. So now let's look at the other condition of the car during the test. Now you can see this is the boot. This is, in fact, this is like, was it the second day I took this picture? Then let's look at what this like today. You can see, basically this was, I didn't, there are even more things, because that depends. This I was going about my weekly walk, so depending on from one destination to another, I get there, I pick something else, put in the boot, get another, I remove it, drop, so, but these things you see there were constantly there all through the drive. And what are these things? These are like 80% of these things, what you are looking at, are tools. 80% of what you're looking at are tools. I'm talking about repair tools, diagnostic tools. The repair tool, look at even that toolbox. I don't know whether it came out here very well. Let me try the other one. They're all the same, The toolbox. I mean, if you have, it's only mechanical, technician will know what you mean by filled up toolbox as big as this one. In fact, it's not showing up very well. Those who own 407 Coupe will tell you how massive massively big the boot is, to swallow this kind of box. It looks so small like this. Filled up box, metals, all kinds of sizes, very heavy box. Yet you could, so you can imagine then the other bags. I put some other tools and some diagnostic tools. I mean, that I don't know how to describe. My boot is my car boot. Mobile workshop. Let me put it that way. So that should explain it more. Always filled up with tools, nothing more. Sometimes parts, depending on parts I need for the vehicle. You see, I always have everything I need so that anytime a car cough on the road, I can always get it back on the road. I have enough things to be able to diagnose, repair, and get the car back on the road, continue my journey. So that's what I mean. My car's boot is more like mobile workshop. So it was heavily loaded. So you are looking about 50 to maybe 80 additional kg added on the car. Meaning you can never get it, because the one Peugeot did was like light car, no load in the car, with only the driver. Maybe the driver said might not be up to 70 kg, maybe with around that price, around that figure. So meaning it was going to be difficult to get that 15 liters per 100 kilometers. Anyway, I did the test eventually, and okay. So this is the time when the car hit 100 kilometers. You can see the trip meter. Look at the mileage. Remember, look at this one. This is when you first started, 103,774 kilometers mileage, and now it's 103,874 kilometers. So then look at the fuel level here. Look at the fuel level here. So so now let's look at the, what's it called? Okay. Look at now remember the other one. This is what we started with. Where it was a little bit confusing. 54, 58 liters, not knowing which one is which. Now, but these ones we are basically they matched. So when he did the 100 kilometers, covered 100 kilometers, so I now took picture of the instrument panel, packed immediately, and put my PP2000, and this is what came up. So fuel level measured. This is what is remaining, fuel quantity remaining in the fuel tank now is 38 liters, 38.5. Average level of fuel in the tank 38.3. Fuel level displayed 38.6. So basically they are all the same. You could say they are basically same quantity of fuel. So I don't know why initially it showed 58 when I first put fuel, and the 54. So I don't know which one to work with. However, there was something I now did. So I now say, okay, let's deduct the quantity, the original quantity of fuel before the test started, and what the current quantity of fuel after the 100 kilometers was covered. There is it. Okay. So I first started with, okay, let's assume truly what was in the tank was 54.7, as pointed out in the first PP2000 report. So if you deduct it for 38.6 liters, which was what was remaining after 100, you get 16.1 liters per 100 kilometers against 15 liters that Peugeot claimed that they got from their own test. Okay, let's assume it wasn't 54.7 liters that was the time, but it was 58.7 liters. And you now deduct it from that, what is also still remaining after 100 kilometers was covered. So what you have consumed in the 100 kilometers drive in the city only, not highway drive, city, then you get 20.1 liters per 100 kilometer. So one of these two is the correct figure, depending on which one we choose to go with. So from the look of things, I was convinced from these two tests, I was convinced that Peugeot was right in their claims that the car, all things being equal, will consume 15 liters per 100 kilometer in a city drive, city or urban driving. So yes, Peugeot was right. It wasn't. They were not lying. I mean, look at my condition. Boot fully loaded. Not just, it's not one thing to fill up a boot, but how heavy was the thing you fill up the boot with? These are heavy metals, so you can tell how heavy they were. I mean, like I said, they are. I can't even talk about. I don't even weight close to what was in the boot. I mean, you are talking about 2 times 2 of me or more, self. So even at that, even with that heavy load, additional heavy load, it was able to consume closer to what Peugeot claimed. Peugeot, that I know that their own, they will drive with without anything in the vehicle. Probably only the spare tire or something, but mine was filled up and no passenger, so it's only the driver that did that one. So was able to do 15. Mine, poof, even though nobody sat in the car during this 3 days test except me. But then what was in the booth is like I had additional 3 passengers all through the test in the vehicle. So so that is it. Of course, let's go back to this. So look at it. When you come back to the urban driving, you can see the V6 manual is in the middle one. 15.0. So meaning Peugeot was actually correct for stating this. So what that means is, if truly Peugeot was right on the city drive, the fuel consumption of the city drive or urban driving, it means they are also correct with the highway driving or interurban, because that's what it means. Highway driving, expressway, or the missed driving. But that misdriving you usually focus because you don't know what's misdriving, like what's the degree of, or what's the percentage of the highway driven and the percentage of the city driving with the two. So it can be kind of, I don't like looking at that. There's no point looking, just focus on city driving, highway driving. That's urban driving, interurban driving. So for the highway, it means, yeah, you can actually achieved 7.3 kilometers per hour with a 407 V6 coupe. Because even whether it's coupe, even manual or automatic, will get you the same amount fuel consumption on the 407 coupe. Because remember, they're all 6-speed, so meaning shorter gear ratios. So you should be able to achieve same fuel consumption. So 7.3 kilometers on highway, that's impressive. Now, I'm not saying you must get it, but you can. Remember, look at what I did. Even with that, imagine if I didn't have all those loads, I would likely get that 15. Because the weather condition was good enough. It was hot, not cold. So I would have gotten that 15, but then the load was there. And I just couldn't do without it. I won't feel comfortable doing this test just for the sake of to get to Peugeot claim. Yet I'll feel so vulnerable without those I can't. That's just me. I'm a technician, so it's like going to work without tools. If you are a corporate person, you go to work without a pen or Bible. I mean, what the hell? So that's who I am. I can't do without it. So whatever I do, I have to factor in that I can't get that this, but at least let's see how close I could get the fuel consumption to what Peugeot claimed. And I was successful. So Yeah, the car consumption is okay to me for 15 kilo for such power and weight. Look at the weight of this car. Look at the weight, 1,738 kg compared to what I added on the car. Yeah, yeah, it's almost as the car was running with about 1,800 and something kg or 1,900 kg with all those loads I added on that car. You know, then with the, of course, if I didn't use AC, the fuel consumption would have been even be less. But I was on AC constantly. Remember, AC consumes more fuel when you are running in the city. If you are using AC inside the city driving, it consumes more fuel than when you're on highway. So I'm pointing out this is for you to understand why you could say I couldn't get that 15. But it doesn't matter when you look at the conditions that the tests were done on or with. So Peugeot was correct with this thing. So it's not up to you. This test does not mean 407 saloon will get the same fuel consumption. I don't actually have the 407 saloon table, both the 4-cylinder and the V6. So there might be different because the weight of 407 V6 saloon is different from that of coupe. In fact, the heaviest of the 407 V6 is that of the station wagon. So, meaning because the heavier a vehicle, the more power it needs to run to pull the excess weight and the more fuel you consume. So, the one that will consume the most will be the 407 V6 saloon, station wagon. So, I will expect the 407 saloon to consume the least because 407 coupe is heavier than the saloon. You should, even though I don't know the figure of it, but you should. I mean, is 407 coupe is heavy, very heavy, much heavier than this. It looks much, even from the look, it's it should be heavier than the saloon. Okay, so the heavier, like I said before, the heavier a vehicle, the more energy it needs to pull. And what do you mean by that energy? For that energy to be able to come into play, you need additional source of power or additional fuel to run, to pull, or to be able to pull that such heavy load. So that is it. Okay, so now how did I? So like I said, I try not to drive for fun throughout this test. I was driving on talk. If you use automatic 407 V6 coupe or any other V6 version of this car or 407, I would recommend you use the manual mode anytime you want to reduce your fuel consumption, to drive for fuel economy. Let me use that one now. If you want to drive for fuel economy for 407 coupe, use your manual mode if it's automatic, so that it will give you basically almost like you are driving the manual 407 V6, the 6-speed manual. If you are driving that, especially if you want to achieve what I did by using the torque instead of the HP on the city driving. Use the manual mode. Don't push hard. All you need to do, you have to learn. As you use it, you master it. Pay attention. I always tell people, pay attention to how your car reacts. That's how you learn, or that's how you understand your car. By the time you are using the manual mode or automatic, the way the car reacts as you are upshifting or downshifting, you know, okay, which at every point in time, the movement of the vehicle speed will determine which gear do you need at that particular time to be able to pull the huge part of the engine torque at lower RPM. It's as simple as that. Your car will always teach you, but every car reacts differently on how you accelerate or clutch, engage, and the rest. Pay attention to the car, you master it. So manual mode will help you. Anytime you're not interested in full economy drive, you switch back to automatic. Manual mode will you get more fuel economy with manual mode than auto mode. That's from my own experience. But of course, I'm not saying you should be constantly driving manual mode. You know, I mean, you bought an automatic, so I mean, if you wanted to drive manual mode all the time, you can as well buy manual, full manual what with full manual transmission. But I say if at a particular point, okay, I don't want to, I just want to drive for full economy. In that case, manual mode will serve you better. If you start pushing it very hard, of course, the consumption will shoot up. Um, so, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, so I was talking, showing something. So after I did I covered the 100 kilometers, so I decided to scan the vehicle because the last time I scanned it was it 2 months ago or last month when I did this conversion of catalyst. No, I won't call it conversion. Rewind back. When I first got the car, the catalytic converter, the bank one, was missing. Before I even purchased the car, I knew it was missing. I did my inspection, so I could tell the catalyst was not there. The back one, which I believe was stolen, because that's unfortunately the reality in Nigeria. It was stolen because that one is easier for them to steal than the bank two catalytic converter. So that's why it was stolen, and I said, okay, fine, deal with it later. So for the ES9A, the catalytic converter, the new one, it's like, don't even bother looking for one because you might not find it. And even if you find it, probably because of buying another one, may buy you another car for a brand new one. I'm serious. It's one of like the most expensive I've ever come across. Used one, no, not even new one. Used ones. I remember that time was available. Buying used one that time was wow. If you see a good, that is, if you find a good used one, most of them usually are broken. At that time, they were not stealing catalysts like that until it became like a trend in Nigeria now. I mean, all you need to do is to give your mechanic your car, and that will be the end of your catalytic converter. It's that so trendy now that it's difficult to trust any Peugeot mechanic now. I'm being very, very honest. The rate at which they steal catalyst now, wow. Trusting any mechanic now is a difficult thing. They steal it at random. As you're parking your car, all you need to do, oh, let me step out and go and eat. By the time you come back, it's gone. It's that bad. It's that bad in Nigeria. So I decided, okay, I'll deal with it. So eventually, I couldn't find a good used one. And so when I now did converted the car from automatic to manual, so I had to remove the engine. So when I now remove the engine, of course, to remove it, I had to remove the catalytic converter, especially that bank one. In this case, it was even the one. I left the bank two on the engine, but when I brought out the engine, I now used my inspection camera and checked the bank two, and it was intact. So the way it was so good means that the bank one too was most likely very good, but they stole it. So it wasn't because that it was bad that they removed it. It was stolen. It was very clear. I knew for sure it was stolen. But like I said, it's something I knew before. It was like that before I bought the car. So when I dropped the engine, removed the bank one, the catalyst cylinder, and when I look at the tail part of it, on the pipe, I could see black soot accumulated there, deposited there, and it's not necessarily like thick black smoke. Funny enough, the car doesn't smoke, no kind of color, brownish or blackish, whatever, coming from the tail of this car to the exhaust, no. However, on this particular bank one, around that catalyst side, because the catalyst was absent, I could tell the consumption shoot up. Because I remember each time I scanned the car, even doing the inspection, it kept saying that particular bank one fuel mixture issue. It was showing that the fuel consumption is higher on that particular bank than the bank two. So I could tell the ambient. Also physically, it confirmed to me, well, the black soot was there, meaning that we were burning too much fuel on that cylinder. So at that time, I said, okay, let me try what I know they do locally. To at least, number one, deal with two things: reduce that hollow noise that can be very, very annoying, especially when the engine is cold or when you are doing hard acceleration. You start the car when cold, its engine will be sounding as if the exhaust is broken. There's not even exhaust attached. Go, 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 making so much until the engine quiets. Once it quiets down, you won't even know that engine is running, you know. But then when you start accelerating the car, while the car is in motion, that drone annoying noise comes back. So I said, okay, that's one local repair they do on the catalyst cylinders here that actually do not eradicate, at least, what's the language I'm looking for now? Reduce. It reduces solve part of the problem by this noise. At least it take care of that noise, that drone noise, to a very large extent. Then the fuel consumption too. From what I gathered, it helps to reduce it as well. It might not be that perfect, that's all, but at least it won't be online, which I eventually experienced. So I put that plate. Let me show you guys. I think I did a video on that. Now look at it. So I did this one. Was it not doing that conversion before I mounted the engine back? Either immediately or few weeks after the conversion, I removed and put this. Let me show you. You can see it here. It's like a plate. You weld it, perforate it, weld it inside. In my case, I put it like two inside the cylinder. Two, one on top, one under. You can put three. In fact, personally, if I know, I've done three at that time. Anyway, so what now happened was, let me go back to this. So when after I put that, remember I was settling black soot on the catalyst, that back one that was when it was empty. So when I put this plate thing, locally constructed one, the noise it was sorted out, that noise, that wulu noise. So the fuel consumption, well, yeah, I could say it reduced. At that time, it wasn't really my primary mission on the fuel consumption, even though it was a concern because of that suit I saw there. I just didn't like it. So, but that noise went away. But what I observed after I did it, it was months ago. I still know that whenever I had a cause to scan the engine ECU, I always see that mixture regulation issue still be telling me that bank one where this catalyst is missing, even though I put something there, it's still consuming higher than it should. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe can never this thing, even though I could my fuel gauge doesn't drop as fast as it used to, but at least it still consumes more. So it's not actually, even though I know it doesn't actually do the work of the catalyst, what is converting harmful emission to less harmful, whatever this jargon they talk about. I know it's not doing that, but at least it's alleviation. Yeah, it has alleviated the issue, reduce it. It's no longer as bad as it was. So until recently, I now decided, you know what, there's one I gathered that you can buy a new universal catalytic converter, new one, not used. You can buy a new one, which you could say is, of course, it's not OEM, and you can't really tell the quality might not even be as good as or close to the OEM one. But I was like, let me give it a try. So if you buy, normally in this case you engage people who specialize on it, panel beaters, they will get one that will size the cylinder, they will cut it off, just like that one I showed in the picture. That was when they were doing it. They will buy it, cut it, and weld it to match the cylinder of where your catalytic converter. That place. You match it and they bolt it. So yeah, it's not OEM, but it will at least, what you could say is it will not last. Okay, so at least it's catalytic. Anyway, I put it there. I did it, was it 2 months ago or last month? Can't remember. So, did it, of course. But what happened was when I was removing it, the cylinder, that catalyst thing, where I put that plate, locally constructed one. And I noticed that where that black soot settled before, when the cylinder was empty, it was no longer black. It now became, at least it has all gone. So it was just brownish substance that was settled there now. I couldn't see that black anymore. So it was kind of brownish stuff. So, but that brownish stuff is just our fuel quality. Fuel quality, they say in Nigeria, is soluble. So no matter how good your system, injection system, your exhaust system is, it will always be settling that brownish, horrible looking substance on the combustion chambers, and which most times, in fact, most catalysts, that's what usually damage catalysts in Nigeria very, very quickly. If you open your this, you find that almost half of your catalyst, the surface on it has been blocked with that brownish substance. It's the fuel. Nothing else. The fuel they say here, I don't know, it produce one kind of things as they are burning off in combustion chamber and going out as smoke. So it will go and block. So those things are settled on the cylinder, this thing. So we showed that actually that plate thing I put, the two I put on my own, actually reduced it because it took care of the black smoke, the black soot that was settling there. But even though it was still showing the consumption was higher. So anyway, I now put the catalyst in. So what now happened was, since then I didn't bother to scan the car, but I cleared the fault. So only for me to now scan it after I covered this 100 kilometers with the new catalyst and I checked. So what you can now see is it's not showing the catalytic converter fault, which has been showing ever since before I even bought the car. But that fault that was showing, that fuel mixture issue that I kept showing, even when I put that plate in, it's no more. It didn't come up again. So only the catalyst fault came up. And I'm not bothered about this because I always known that, I don't know about other brand of car, but for Peugeot, if you put a catalytic converter, no matter how good, okay, let me not use the word good, but okay, I could use it. As long as it's not OEM catalytic converter, it will always be showing you catalytic converter fault. That's one thing I've observed. No matter how new or even how good the catalytic converter is, if it's not the OEM catalyst, brand new one, if you scan the car, it will be telling you catalytic converter fault. That's just it. So that's why I'm ignoring this. I see it didn't come up again with car. The reason why I tell you all this story is to understand that even though I said earlier the injection system, everything was okay, at least good enough to be able to carry out this test without it affecting the outcome. So I want to believe that this catalyst did not affect the fuel consumption. Yeah, it's showing this, but at least it took care of that regulation issue, fuel mixture regulation issue was always showing me before I put this catalyst, Now, for those who are wondering, what of the other faults, if you are following my videos ever since I did this conversion, you can always see that whenever I'm doing my 407 coupe and show the instrument panel, you will always be seeing, not all the time, depending on the video. Sometimes there's some video you might not see it. The early time I did the conversion anyway. So when I did the manual to automatic to manual conversion, of course, I retained the engine ECU, so which was already configured to work with automatic transmission. But what I had to do, I had to configure the system such a way that the engine ECU, even though is meant to work with the automatic transmission, can still work with the manual without any issue. Every other system work perfectly well, except that the engine ECU would always, be stating that the signal is supposed to be getting from the automatic transmission, which is a detail to be receiving, is no longer coming. So it will register that issue. So initially when I did the conversion, it cleared the fault, did everything. Every issue will go away. Nothing, no fault to come up, no check engine light, nothing. Then I noticed after like 100 kilometers drive, or sometimes 50-kilometer drive, sometimes 50, it will come back. You scan it, check light will come back, scan it, it will see, you see this gearbox inconsistency. Clear the fault, drive it, maybe sometimes 20 kilometers, sometimes 50, sometimes 100, it will come back. So at the point I was like, I mean, who am I fooling? I've gotten the result I wanted. Is it because if the check light is on, I know why it's on. It's about the transmission that is not even in the vehicle anymore. I'm not even using. So why am I bothered about the check engine light? So I stopped bothering about it. I left it like that. But you could see some of my videos. Sometimes when I share, people will be making some silly comments. Hey, check engine light is on. Well, come on, you're talking to a technician. Are you saying I don't know that my check engine light is on? Why are you people being so busybody that you don't even know what you're doing? You know, I know it's on. I know why it's on. If it's something that needs attention, you are not the one to tell me. I just wanted to point it out in this video too, because it's always every time I post a video of my instrument panel, you see people say, hey, your check engine light is on. As if I'm blind. I don't know. Yet I'm the one telling you your issues in your car, but I cannot see my own issues. So I know why my check engine light is on, which has nothing to do with the vehicle. It's just a software issue thing, which if I can choose, if I want, I can edit it out, but it will require removing the ECU, shipping it out to have it edited out elsewhere and returned. But all for what? Just as check engine light doesn't stay on. That's stupidity to me. Another option I could do is to buy another ECU program for manual, but that will require most like buying complete kit. You know, then it will mess up the instrument panel. I mean, for what? Just to check engine light doesn't come on when I know specifically why it's on. It's a different thing that it's on. You don't know why it's on, but I know why it's on, and why it's on has nothing to do with the vehicle anymore, or what is already in the vehicle. I mean, so I mean, it will be the most stupid thing for me to do, to go and spend money, spend hundreds of thousands or so, just to the gearbox inconsistency to go away, so that people will not be happy when they see my video with check engine light off. Oh, that would be the most stupid thing I would do in life. Okay, anyway, so I just wanted to explain, so you guys will see that the 407 V6 consumption is very okay. You know, it's very, very okay. Now, if you feel that 16 liters per 100 kilometer or 20.1 liters per 100 kilometer with heavily loaded vehicle is too much. This is a city drive. Remember, I didn't drive it. No, I didn't make any attempt to drive the car on highway, no city, to try to. It was purely city driving, urban driving. If you think it is too much, I will advise you, then don't even bother buying a V6. It's not just even a 407, maybe other cars too. Avoid them. Because I can tell you that there are some 4 cylinders, even EW10J4. There are people, majority in Nigeria, cannot comfortably say now that they can even achieve this 20 liters per 100 kilometer inside the city. I can tell you, it's not about what they think, it's what I know. I know the condition of cars people bring to me sometimes to repair. So I can tell you, majority in Nigeria that drives various Peugeot models is 4 cylinders, and they cannot even make attempt to achieve close to 20 liters per 100 kilo, not to think of 15. So when you're looking at this, and so them, the car doesn't consume fuel, you know. So, but there should consume less than 15. I mean, if you are using EW10J4 or similar engines, it shouldn't be. It should be getting 10, a little bit below 10, depending on engine. Maybe ETHP engines should be looking at less than 10. Well, okay, for the city, I doubt. Because when you drive inside the city, it's supposed to be much higher. It's a highway that you should be talking about less than 10. City drive, it should be at least around that 9, 10 more liters per 100 kilometers. Because you are basically on the lower gear, you know. Okay, so I hope this helps. I will advise people with the automatic V6. When you want for economy, use the manual mode. If you don't know how to use, learn it. It's not up to you to judge how the fuel consumption is. For my test, is it too high? Is it way off from the factory for Peugeot claim? Considering the condition I did the test, the load on the vehicle and the rest, and the bad fuel quality they sell in Nigeria, which can make it very, very difficult to get to that. I mean, it's up to you. So you judge yourself. But to me, it's very okay. It's very okay. I mean, look at the weight of the car. Even without additional, look at the weight of that car. Not to think of the weight I added. So you can even do, but you can do better than I did. If you don't have any loads on the car, trust me, you are likely going to get maybe even less than what Peugeot even, or better than Peugeot even achieved. You never know. But to do that, your car injection system, vehicle, your tires, your braking systems, engine cooling systems, they have to be in good condition. You can even get better when you are not using AC. Remember, when you're AC, especially in the city, you consume much higher than using AC on highway. So if you don't want, you can switch off your AC in the city. But for me, for what reason? Why would I switch off sweating like he goat just to save 1 liter or 2 liters of fuel? How much? 170 naira per liter. I want to save just to look like he goat when I get to my destination. Okay, I hope this video helps.